Starting a business is hard and you have a lot to do. Before I give you a checklist of all the tasks that you need to complete, I want to talk to you about two different approaches of productivity that will help you reach your goals. So Thursdays are a little less structured in the sense that I'm giving myself liberty to be abstract with what I teach. I want to make sure that whatever I put out can be useful to anyone who's starting their photography career, but I'm also creative, so excuse me if I venture out from the practical into the more philosophical. Today we're going to be talking about productivity and handling stress. This is somewhat anecdotal because I'm really only talking about my wife and I's different approach to dealing with a large workload or reaching overwhelming goals. You'd be surprised how many people neglect finding an efficient work ethic that would make their life easier. But nobody teaches this stuff and we're all left to suffer in ignorance. So you're wanting to start your career or business and you know all the obstacles that you have to overcome to reach your end goal. If you want to be a photographer, you need to learn about the camera basics, which I'll be teaching next week. You need to learn about and buy lenses. You have to legally form your business so that Uncle Sam doesn't come to your door with handcuffs. You need to put your website together. You need to create social media accounts and you have to post on the social media accounts. That's just scratching the surface of it. By now, I'm assuming that you're sweating with anxiety, but don't worry. Let's get into two possible approaches to completing all the tasks that are before you. These are not absolute, and I find myself using either approach for different scenarios, so I really encourage you to reflect on this one. Eating the elephant. So this should be a fairly well-known concept. The saying goes, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. It's very easy to look at all you have to do and feel overwhelmed. You may even feel tired for what you're not doing at the present, but for what you know you have to do in the future. The goal of this concept is meant to narrow down your vision to complete one task at a time. Don't worry about what you need to do tomorrow. Worry about what you have to do today. If this resonates with you, something to consider is finding a way to pull yourself into the present and deciding what the most pressing tasks are. Something that my wife likes to do is work out or go on walks because it forces her to be in the here and now. One con with this approach is that you run the risk of getting bottlenecked if one task requires a lot from you. Mowing the lawn. This fits more with how my mind works. This concept is meant to get you into what I like to call a flow state of productivity. I'm sure you've had that feeling of doing an activity where you just get lost in it and you get lost in what you're doing and you get into this kind of meditative state. Well, that's the flow. I call it mowing the lawn because that's really the closest analogy that I can think of. The idea is to make a series of passes over each task to make progress on a broader scope of things. This is great if, like me, it motivates you to touch a lot of tasks so that even things down the road are worked on. It helps with not getting overwhelmed or bottlenecked, but the con with this approach is that you do have to make sure that you're consistent. Otherwise, things will pile up and before you know it, you're trying to stop an avalanche. I think that goes for whatever approach you take though, honestly. Let's talk about rest. The reason I have a segment for rest is because you're not good to anybody if you're running on 10% battery. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is recharge, and this looks different for everyone. Some people rest by going out and spending time with people. Some like to stay home and read a book or watch a movie. Whatever it is for you, I would encourage you to work at resting. So I really hope this helped with finding a possible approach for you to take on the challenges of starting a business. It can be a lot, but I really believe it in my heart that everyone is capable of being a successful business owner. If you like this channel and you want to support us, you can visit the links down below. Next week, I'm going to be talking about camera basics. It's a whole list of things that I'm going to be going over. And I'm also going to give you a plan and a checklist for what you need to do when you're starting this business. So again, I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe down below. My name is Juan Jose, and we are the Pathfinders Studio.